What's up, everybody? It's your boy Slim the Streamer back with another video. Smash that like button and subscribe button. So I'm just sitting here thinking to myself about the state of VR gaming. Right now, I'm not gonna get on here and say VR is dead like everybody else. VR is actually pumping in the right direction. But I was thinking about right the PlayStation VR2. Now, I was thinking about the PlayStation VR2 because I was saying to myself, are they dropping the ball when it comes to PSVR gaming? VR gaming. Now, I looked on their list of PS VR games that they currently have, and yeah, there isn't much. Far as like like just a oozing amount of games, right? There isn't much. We got the standards like Pavlov, that's is on PC. We got Gran Turismo 7. We got Horizon. We got, you know, the Resident Evil Village. But I was thinking about this, right? What if PlayStation dug into their archive, and digged up PS3 games, PS3 and PS4 games, VR, full motion control, hit them with the PS5 graphics, right? Imagine Killzone VR. Imagine Killzone VR. Like, I was watching Killzone gameplay, right? Just Killzone 3 gameplay. Imagine if they, and I'm not talking about a mod, I'm not talking about somebody, I'm talking about Sony actually creating VR gaming titles based off of PS3 games. Killzone 3, I don't care what you call it. If they can make a full Killzone VR game, oh my God, people will lose their ish. I'm telling you. And not just Killzone. If 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 they make like, I'm trying to think the PlayStation, if they make what's that game? Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. If they make games like uh, Splinter Cell, full VR, like a full VR Splinter Cell, right? Motion controls, everything, full VR off PlayStation, PSVR2, people will lose their minds if they make a Splinter Cell VR. Come on, guys. If they make Uncharted, VR, you know how many people will lose their minds right now? I'm literally thinking about PlayStation and the great days of PlayStation, right? The grand times, like the beautiful time of PlayStation. And in my opinion, the most beautiful time of PlayStation was when the PS3 was out. Man, you had so many game titles come out back then on PS3. And just imagine if they could go back, revamp it, come out with brand new, like overhaul the graphics for PS5 graphics, and put certain games straight VR. I'm telling you, people will lose their minds. I already gave you some titles. You're already foaming at the mouth right now, right? How is I don't and I can understand, right? Because look, VR is not a demanding uh entity, right? You're you don't VR does not VR is only for a sector amount of some of people that play VR. It's not that widely known. Why? Because the cost of entry to get into VR cost a lot of money. You already PlayStation, you gotta buy a PlayStation, you gotta buy a PSVR2 headset. That's already what, 300-400 bucks. PlayStation or PS5 or PS5 Pro, that's what, for another 4 or 5, maybe 600 bucks. So you're already talking about maybe $1,200-$1,300 that you already got to come out of pocket. Then you got to buy the games. So now if you look at PC, you got you got to buy an expensive gaming PC, and you got to actually buy the actual uh VR headset. Now, one thing about Meta, you can do most of the games. That's why Meta is winning, because the Meta Quest is standalone and you can play majority of the games. You don't even need a computer. And you can just pay what, 300 bucks, and you got basically a ready-made PC on your head, right? Because you could surf the internet, you could watch movies, you could watch television, you could play your games standalone. So that's a great concept. That's why Meta is winning. But if PlayStation could just, I'm telling you, if PlayStation could dominate, if they take majority of their games, and I get it's not gonna cost a lot of, it's not, may not make that much money, right? But that may wake people up to want to get into VR, right? Because the games that are out right now currently, they're okay, but most of these games are already been dated. They're already old. So yeah, you only got a sector amount of games. Yeah, now some of these games are old, but it's still worth playing. Contractors, Ghost of Tabora, Into the Radius 2. So you got a great amount of great games that are already out, but they're dated. That's why a lot of videos you see on VR content are mostly reruns. They're mostly talking about the good old days of VR gaming, right? So I can understand the from the developer's point. Hey, I'm not. It's no point of dumping a bunch of money into this because we may not make the money back. But to have Killzone, to have Uncharted, to have Splinter Cell in VR, full VR with PlayStation 5 graphics, oh my God, I will literally shit bricks if they do that. I will run out and buy a PS5, man, with let me see it. Let me see it coming out by Sony. I would lose my mind. But I'm just thinking like, man, how awesome that will be. How awesome. How awesome to have those great games. And I'm only saying PS3 because I'm looking at PS3. I had a PS4, but most of the great games were on PS3. But just imagine if those type of games were on PlayStation. I really believe, even I, I really believe PlayStation can dominate. Like I really believe PlayStation can knock Meta off their hinges because PlayStation already has an exorbitant amount of games of a game library. Now, I don't know how much it's going to cost to actually put it into a VR standpoint and to have it natively run on VR and for it to actually run and to come out playing 100% perfect. Even if you put it out for early access and you have, early access and it runs absolutely amazing. Wow. Just imagine how that would be. But let me know what you guys think about this, man. I just want to bring this video out here. I was just thinking about PlayStation and where PlayStation can go, in my opinion. But let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Am I just blabbling? Am I just going, yo, Slim, you bugging? You tripping? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I was just thinking, like, man, imagine if they do that. How awesome would that be? But let me know in the comments, guys. Smash that like button, subscribe button, and I'll be Slim the Streamer, and I'll catch you guys later, man. Peace.